6th year for Clash of the Clubs. Traditionally, it's been clubs that are in kind of a close proximity to one another, mainly the Midwest. And this was the very first year we've had 5 clubs participate. Normally, it's only 4.
Right. We had Midwest Jeep Thing from St. Louis. We had Midwest Crawlers from Kansas City. We had Lords of Craw from Texas. Make It or Break It from Texas. Red Dirt from Oklahoma.
SMORR's a really nice park. It's a home park for me and Bill pretty much. We've been coming down here for a lot of other events for a long time. SMORR's really nice because you've got cabins on site. You know, we've got the big pavilion that they let us use. You've got plenty of electric camping. You've got hotels on both ends of town. And like I said, we've been coming down for years. So Brandon, the owner down here, was really accommodating when we reached out to him about doing the event here. It worked out really good. It's a great location for this event.
Me and Andy had picked out certain obstacles, and we do not let the obstacles out until the day of. And we get 3 drivers from each club. They all draw straws. That's the order that they go in. And we literally we do a driver's meeting and we head out and go to the first obstacle.
Yeah.
We don't want to pick like the hardest thing out there because we want the Jeeps, you know,
to be able
to build
have a shot, have a good shot at it.
Yeah, we want it to be kind of on an even kill with everybody. So we went to Larry's Hill. Anybody knows Larry's Hill, it's just a big hill and there's just lines all the way up through there. We chose a middle line, which is so-so. They were flying up it. And then we had to do a recovery on that, try to winch.
Oh yeah, drive shaft broke on that.
Yeah, drive shaft, and then it broke the fuel line. So he couldn't start it, couldn't do anything. He had so-so brakes, but we had to winch him down the hill instead of up because we couldn't get him up over it.
I was trying to go for it and ended up that the new drive shaft I just had put in snapped an ear, drive shaft spun around, cut my fuel line, and put me in that pickle and let everyone else wait behind me for a while. I tried.
You know, everybody, I'll be honest, I think everybody shot up it a lot faster than I thought they were going to. I mean, I thought there was going to be a little more struggle on that than there was. Some of those obstacles I couldn't quite see where they were actually finishing at. But people blew through that one a lot faster. The main thing I thought was going to be different here is, I know a lot of those Texas guys are used to slow technical crawling, and you get over here and there's a lot of skinny pedal wheeling over here, which was a definitely different style for them. But you know, everybody did really, really good.
Yeah, which a lot of the guys, they're not even used to the speed thing.
Right.
I was like, I've never gone this fast before on a trail, you know. But they gave it their all for their clubs, you know. Yeah. They did. They really do. They pushed them.
Yep. yeah, double whammy starts at the far right-hand side with a really steep ledge that kind of tapers off more to level ground as you go off to the left.
You guys can go to the right of that tree or to the left of that tree, and I will be standing up here at the top.
So Sherry, the first Jeep on that obstacle that went for Midwest Jeep thing, and Sherry is a send it gal. I mean, she comes to party. Every time she wheels, she comes to party.
Ready, set, go!
I'm watching, and all I could see was the side view of it, and I mean, she was up there.
Yeah. And I thought as soon as she landed, the drive line was just going to explode. But I mean, she stayed in it, and I mean, it launched up that hill.
She did.
That was a cool shot. That was probably the neatest obstacle to watch.
Everybody, it was funny because a lot of people were coming up through there pretty easy.
Yeah.
You know, but then when they got to those second ledges up there was a couple of them that were fighting it.
Oh, yeah.
And really working to trying to get up there.
So double whammy is another obstacle that we chose, mainly because some of the criteria we're looking for when choosing obstacles is we've got to make sure we've got room for spectators to be around. We've got to make sure that, you know, it's nice, it's open, we can get everybody through it. And mainly the other thing we look at is we got to make sure that if we have a break,
Recovery.
it's a reasonable recovery and not something that's going to take half a day.
But once you get up those ledges, because when you're looking at it, it's just lines of, you know, shelves. But then we had them go up a little bit further past it for the finish line, which was some more shelves, some good ledges up there. And as we found out with one of the Midwest Jeep thing guys, Whitey.
Yeah, Midwest, they put on a show with a few Jeeps. That was Chris White that came back down it though.
I don't know how many times he rolled. But
when we rewatched the video, I think it was 4 full rolls from the very top. And I mean, he was lucky because we thought it was going to come all the way back down to the beginning. And if he would have came down that last shelf, that would have been.
So put this in perspective. Nobody can see where the finish line was, barely. You could just see it in the trees. I'm the only one up there, me and David. And when he come up that top ledge, he was on the gas and he stood it straight up and it just completely went over backwards. Luckily, he's got a good cage and everything, and he was safe. What, he had a little bump or bruise or something on his arm?
A little scratch on his head, and a little scratch on his head, I think, and his arm was swollen up a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, great response to that though. You know, I think we had 2 RNs and a combat medic that, I mean, were at
right
his
there.
Jeep, making him sure he was good.
Mitch, with the Dirty Life Jeep, he had his stationed up top so we can get a winch down to everybody and hold on to everything. So Mitch was very helpful. There was one ledge, it was a pretty smooth ledge, but it was wet and damp. And people were getting hung up on that, trying to just crawl right at it, and you couldn't do it. And of course, once they come up that, then they got those real big rock ledges, and there was no holds bar on those. They were just, I mean, I don't know how many diffs smoked those rocks, and they were breaking pieces of it off, just.
Aptly named double whammy, I think, and I think a lot of people always did that. I know my first time here. Yeah, you get up that first series of ledges, and you think that's the obstacle.
Yeah.
And then you get up by where you had the finish line, and you're going, huh? Oh, there's the double to the whammy.
Yeah.
There's part two.
Yeah, there is part two.
So Wagoner Hill had a lot of unique things going on, and that was one that, I mean, we had to have all 5 clubs had to have their drivers in single file line, because that is the one where we couldn't have spectators at the bottom. It's a super tight left-hand turn. You know, we had to shuffle down there in order. And the other unique thing about that one is that's the only trail that you didn't have the advantage of being able to see what the guy in front of you really did and pick a line. And so, you know, you've got to start from the bottom. I mean, and it doesn't look like a very big little ledge, but you got that first ledge as soon as you go in there. And I think almost everybody did the same thing. You know, they hit it thinking they were going to crawl it, and then almost everybody had to back up and go, okay, no, you've got to hit it.
It's kind of loose down there,
too. It's all loose, super loose gravel.
Yeah.
You get back up just a little bit ways, and as it starts to cut to the right, you know, you've got that second shelf where you can either cut to the far right and stay on that tree line, or you can kind of more go up the middle. And I think we had a good mix of people trying both things. And I don't feel like either one of them is any easier.
Yeah,
that's a struggle for two-door Jeeps. Though. That's a wheelbase.
That is, it is, and that was like, that's what I could see.
And that's where I lost everything.
I'm at the top, and the top is a big rock ledge, and there's one good rock ledge that you really need to bump at it and get up, and it's wet. And of course, all the spectators were piled on one side up there, so it gave some room for everybody. They couldn't see the rest, but they seen the finish line to where they had all the rock that they had to bounce up. So I would see them get about halfway, and that's where I would catch them.
Yeah, and that's about where I lost them.
Yeah, and they were flying up through there, and of course me, I'm always rooting for everybody, because I just want them to make it.
The guys in the two-door Jeep, man, I felt bad for them because they shot up the whole first part of that obstacle. They zoomed up it. But man, by the time you had called down until time, I think that last ledge that you have to hit to come exit out, I think they were struggling on that one for a good while with that short wheelbase.
Yes, they was. There was one gentleman, he was beating on it, and he wasn't going to give up. He wasn't going to give up. He just kept hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. And I asked him one time, I go, do you want us to go ahead and winch you? And he's like, no, I want to make it. I was like, okay. And everybody up there, you get like almost lit. Everybody's going, oh. They were digging on it because some of the guys were coming up to it and they were just going to give just a light bump. They figured they'd get like 3/4 of the way up that little bump and slide back down and just, and they were just digging it out even more, and it was just tearing up, making it muddier and muddier, and they were throwing rocks everywhere up there.
You got to commit to that ending. That's got to be, you got to, all the skinny pedal to get out of that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I would say, ironically, that third obstacle, I would have labeled it probably technically the most challenging, and it's the only trail we didn't have a brake or any issues on.
Right.
Everybody made it up and out under their own power.
Right. I always do one bonus line, and it's for anybody here. Anybody that's here can do the bonus line. I don't care if you got a buggy, whatever it may be, if you want to try it. This year we decided to do 2. We were going to do 2 bonus lines.
So right behind Larry's Hill, you have Big Smith.
Right, and when they were looking at it, some of the guys were like, I'm not gonna try this.
And Corey Buneman in the Logo Daddy buggy was the first one the guy said, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot and see what happens. And I mean, man, he sailed up that thing.
Yeah.
That was unreal.
Yeah. And when somebody makes it, they're like, I can make this now.
So the bottom where we were starting them at, we started them on the hill a little bit lower, right by one of the trees that had a sign on it, so everybody had an equal starting point. And we wanted to start them back far enough that they could get some wheel speed, because I would say probably within 20 or 30 yards of the starting point was the gatekeeper. That was the first big ledge. And that first big rock face they had to get up, there's no way anybody's crawling it. That's when you've got to, You know, you got to get a front tire to it, and then it is hammer down, and you're either gonna bounce up it or you're not. It's just the only two things that are gonna happen.
Right.
I mean, there was nobody there that was bashful.
Yeah.
They were getting it.
So I could see them just come up over the rock face from the bottom, and I'm up a ways trying to hide behind trees to save myself, because when they would come up and pass me, they had to make a turn. So when they made a turn, there's another rock ledge, and they were slinging the rocks.
Yeah.
I mean, slinging them. And I mean, I got hit, I don't know how many times up there. I've been hit by 18 rocks. Well, not 19 rocks. My legs are a little bit up on the backside, but I'm okay. That one got me in there. That one got me in the mouth. Standing there, when you get up on that thing and you're coming towards me, it's all rutted out. So half the time, the guys are carrying the tire up there. I mean, the tire's in the air and they're on the gas, going from one side to the other, and I'm like trying to figure out, am I going to get ran over? What's going to happen here?
Yeah, you don't know which way are they going to shoot next?
And David, the timekeeper, he's sitting over there hiding behind the tree branches and stuff. He's like nervous, and I mean, but those guys flew up through there, and every one of them gave it their all. Broken shaft.
And we only had one. I think it's probably, we only had one break on that one. I think one guy broke a stub shaft.
He broke the shaft, and luckily it was at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Copperhead.
Oh.
The locals down here know Copperhead.
Yeah.
And it's always wet, always wet. And if you don't hit the line just right, you're not going to make it.
Yeah, that's just, I mean, just tire placement on that thing, an inch or two the wrong way just makes it.
Have you ever made up it?
No, last time I tried to go up it, we were still mid-arm suspension in the back. My rear control arms always got hung up on it.
I went up it 2 years ago, and I've never tried it since because I'm always so nervous. But there was a ton of people down there.
Yeah.
I mean, they are just piled in there. Everybody's got their lawn chairs out and everything.
And I mean, I think every club bought a good gang of people with them. I mean, even the people coming from all the way from Texas, there was a ton of spectators here for this
from
event.
Texas, we had Lords of Crawl.
Yep.
And we had Make It or Break It.
Yeah.
They drove from Texas, and they put on a show.
Far down. Coming back. She's hot. I ain't gonna do it. She's hot.
Corey won that, didn't he?
Yep. Corey did win that one.
It's funny, Jason Prophet, he says, man, I beat on this thing the other day and I couldn't make it. He went over there and just one-shotted it.
Yep.
Boop, boop, right up it, man. I was so happy for him.
And I think it was close between him and Corey, time-wise.
Yeah, it was.
It was really close.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Right?
So after we finished that last bonus obstacle, we get everybody back up here under the pavilion. Travis Holtmeyer, which is part of Lake Ozark Jeep Club, Spring Bills, bought his big tow behind grill down here. And, they did, I don't know, we did a couple hundred hamburgers, a couple hundred hot dogs.
Part of this event wasn't to be like, oh, who's the best club or anything like that. It's an event for everybody to have fun and wheel together with different clubs and get to hang out and meet other clubs. Everybody's on the internet, and stuff like that, but it's nice to see that all the clubs come together and hang out and, laugh and crack jokes at each other or whatever, but get to hang out with each other.
This club might be based out of somewhere, that's just a few towns away.
Right.
And everybody knew each other, everybody talked to each other, but until that event, they never wheeled together.
Yeah.
They never got out on the trails together.
I always build the trophy, and of course I got a ton of broken parts laying around. And so I sit there and piece and stitch pieces of metal together, gears or whatever. And I mean, this year I had transfer case parts and stuff like that. One little pinion in there, but it's always, I don't know, it's better than getting a trophy from the store, I feel. It's a little bit more.
Midwest Jeep thing won it again.
Yeah.
They took the trophy.
Yeah, I want to thank all the clubs that showed up. A lot of them drove a long way. I love that. I want to thank every one of the clubs that came up and participated. And I want to thank Brandon at SMORR for letting us do the event here again this year.
And again, huge thank you to all the sponsors that came through and really delivered for this event.
Yeah, Bill.